The first rays of sunlight pierced the dense canopy. Emerald green leaves dripped with dew, sparkling like 1,000 tiny diamonds. The air, thick with humidity, vibrated with the symphony of the jungle. Monkeys chattered, insects buzzed, and a symphony of birdsong filled the air. This was a place of raw, untamed beauty, ruled by the laws of nature. Deep within this vibrant ecosystem, life unfolded in a delicate balance. Predators stalked, prey evaded, and the cycle of life and death continued. Yet on this day, an undercurrent of unease rippled through the usual rhythm. Something was different, a shift in the very air itself. Atop a rocky plateau overlooking his domain sat the king of the jungle. His name was Ashoka, a magnificent Bengal tiger whose very presence commanded respect. His coat, a blaze of orange and black stripes, blended seamlessly with the dappled sunlight filtering through the leaves. Ashoka's eyes, twin orbs of emerald green, scanned his kingdom, ever watchful. Ashoka was not just any tiger, he was the protector, the guardian of this sacred land. He was the apex predator, the embodiment of strength and grace. His roar, a deep guttural sound that echoed through the trees, could strike fear into the heart of any creature. But it was also a sound of reassurance, a promise of safety to those under his watchful gaze. A subtle change in the wind caught Ashoka's attention. The breeze, which had been a gentle caress, now carried with it a whisper of something foreign. It was a scent that did not belong to the familiar tapestry of his home. The savannah, with its myriad of smells, had always been a place of comfort and familiarity. But this was different. This was a scent that spoke of intrusion, of something or someone that did not belong. It carried an unfamiliar scent, a faint trace of something alien to this place. Ashoka's nose twitched as he tried to decipher the message carried by the wind. It was not the scent of prey, nor was it the musk of a rival predator. This was something entirely different, something that sent a shiver down his spine. The jungle, with its dense foliage and hidden secrets, seemed to amplify the mystery. It wasn't the scent of prey or rival predator. This was something different, something that sparked a primal unease within him. His instincts, honed by years of survival, told him to be wary. The scent was faint, but it carried with it a sense of foreboding. Ashoka's eyes scanned the horizon, searching for any sign of movement, any clue that might reveal the source of this disturbance. Ashoka rose to his paws, his every sense on high alert. His muscles tensed, ready to spring into action at a moment's notice. The savannah, usually a place of peace and tranquility, now felt charged with an unseen tension. He knew he had to investigate, to ensure the safety of his territory and his pride. He descended from his rocky perch and padded silently through the undergrowth. Each step was measured, each movement deliberate. The jungle, with its thick canopy and tangled vines, provided ample cover, but also hid potential threats. Ashoka's ears twitched, picking up the faintest of sounds, his eyes constantly scanning for any sign of danger. The jungle, usually alive with the sounds of its inhabitants, seemed to hold its breath. The usual chorus of insects and birds was conspicuously absent, replaced by an eerie silence. It was as if the entire forest was aware of the impending threat and had chosen to remain silent in the face of it. This silence was unnerving, a stark contrast to the usual symphony of life that filled the air. Even the birdsong seemed muted, as if the entire forest was aware of the approaching danger. The birds, usually so vocal and lively, sat quietly on their branches, their eyes wide with caution. It was a rare sight, and one that only added to Ashoka's growing unease. He knew that the forest inhabitants were often the first to sense danger, and their silence spoke volumes. Ashoka moved with the grace of a phantom, his massive paws barely disturbing a leaf. His movements were fluid, almost ghost-like, as he navigated the dense undergrowth. He was a master of his domain, and his every step was a testament to his strength and agility. The scent was growing stronger, and with it, Ashoka's determination to uncover its source. He was on the hunt, not for food, but for the source of the unsettling scent that disturbed the peace of his domain. His nose led him forward, each sniff bringing him closer to the truth. The jungle seemed to close in around him, the trees and vines forming a labyrinth that he navigated with ease. Ashoka's mind raced with possibilities, each one more troubling than the last. But he knew one thing for certain. He would not rest until he had uncovered the mystery that had invaded his home. The hunter's trail. Ashoka followed the scent, his senses guiding him deeper into the heart of the jungle. The air was thick with the aroma of damp earth and decaying leaves, a symphony of smells that only a seasoned tracker like Ashoka could decipher. Each step he took was deliberate, his paws pressing into the soft ground, leaving faint imprints that would soon be swallowed by the forest floor. The jungle was alive with sounds, the rustle of leaves, the distant call of a bird, the hum of insects. But Ashoka's focus was unwavering. He was on a mission, and nothing could distract him from his path. He moved with purpose, his every step filled with a quiet determination. The trail he followed was faint, almost imperceptible to the untrained eye, but to Ashoka it was as clear as day. His senses were heightened, every nerve in his body attuned to the environment around him. He could feel the subtle changes in the air, the slight shift in the wind, the almost inaudible sounds of the forest. Each of these clues guided him, painting a picture of the path ahead. Ashoka's mind was a map, constantly updating with new information, leading him ever closer to his quarry. The smell grew stronger, a strange metallic odor that was entirely out of place in this world of earth and vegetation. It was a scent that jarred his senses, a sharp contrast to the natural aromas of the jungle. Ashoka paused, his nose twitching as he tried to pinpoint the source of the smell. It was unlike anything he had encountered before, a foreign element in his familiar world. The metallic scent was mixed with something else, something that made his fur stand on end. It was the scent of humans, a species that Ashoka had learned to be wary of. It spoke of humans, a species Ashoka had encountered only a handful of times, but whose scent he never forgot. The smell was unmistakable, a blend of sweat, metal, and something else that Ashoka couldn't quite identify. It was a scent that brought with it memories of past encounters, of times when humans had intruded into his world, bringing with them chaos and destruction. Ashoka's muscles tensed as he continued to follow the trail, his senses on high alert. He knew that where there was one human, there were often more, and he had to be prepared for anything. The trail led him to a clearing where the remnants of a campfire smoldered, sending tendrils of smoke spiraling into the air. The clearing was a stark contrast to the dense jungle, a sudden open space that felt exposed and vulnerable. Ashoka's eyes scanned the area, taking in the signs of human presence. The campfire was still warm, indicating that the humans had not been gone for long. Ashoka's nose twitched as he picked up the lingering scent of smoke and charred wood, mingling with the other smells of the jungle. It was a scene of disruption, a reminder of the impact humans had on the natural world. Discarded cans and plastic bottles littered the ground, a stark contrast to the natural beauty of the surrounding jungle. The sight of the litter filled Ashoka with a sense of anger and frustration. The jungle was his home, a place of pristine beauty and delicate balance, and the presence of human trash was an affront to everything he held dear. Ashoka's eyes narrowed as he surveyed the mess, his mind racing with thoughts of how to protect his territory from further intrusion. The litter was more than just an eyesore. It was a symbol of the disregard humans had for the natural world. A wave of anger washed over Ashoka. Humans. They brought with them disruption, disrespect for the delicate balance of nature. Ashoka's mind flashed back to the times he had encountered humans before, each time leaving a mark on his memory. He remembered the noise, the chaos, the way they trampled through the jungle without a care for the life that thrived there. His anger was not just for the litter, but for the deeper impact humans had on his world. The jungle was a place of harmony, a place where every creature had its role, and humans were the only ones who seemed to disrupt that balance. They brought with them disruption, disrespect for the delicate balance of nature. Ashoka knew that he had to act, to protect his home from further harm. The jungle was resilient, but it was not invincible. Every piece of litter, every campfire, every human footprint left a mark, a scar on the landscape. Ashoka's resolve hardened as he turned away from the clearing, his mind set on finding the humans and driving them out. He was a guardian of the jungle, and he would do whatever it took to preserve its beauty and balance. The hunter's trail was not just a path through the jungle, it was a mission, a duty, a calling. A trap is sprung. Ashoka circled the clearing, his senses on high alert. The dense forest around him was alive with the sounds of nature, but he could sense something was amiss. Every rustle of leaves, every snap of a twig heightened his awareness. His golden eyes scanned the surroundings, searching for any sign of the intruders who dared to encroach upon his territory. The air was thick with tension, and Ashoka's muscles were coiled, ready to spring into action at a moment's notice. He could feel their presence, a palpable weight in the air. A low growl rumbled in his chest, a warning to any who dared to threaten his domain. His ears twitched, picking up the faintest of sounds, and his nose twitched as he caught the scent of something unfamiliar. Suddenly, a sharp metallic clang echoed through the clearing. Ashoka whirled around, his eyes searching for the source of the sound. Too late. He felt a searing pain shoot up his front leg as a hidden snare trap snapped shut, its metal teeth biting deep into his flesh. Ashoka roared in pain and fury, his cry echoing through the forest. The trap was cunningly concealed, a cruel device meant to capture and maim. His massive body thrashed against the trap's unforgiving grip, but the more he struggled, the tighter the trap became, digging deeper into his flesh. Blood oozed from the wound, staining the ground beneath him. Desperation set in as Ashoka realized the gravity of his situation. He had to free himself, but every movement sent waves of agony through his body. His roars grew louder, a mix of pain and defiance. The forest, once his sanctuary, now felt like a prison. He could hear the distant calls of other animals, but none dared to come close. The trap was not just a physical restraint. It was a symbol of the encroaching dangers that threatened his existence. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the clearing, Ashoka's strength began to wane. He knew he had to conserve his energy, but the pain was relentless. With one final defiant roar, he lay still, his mind racing with thoughts of escape and survival. Courage in the face of fear. Panic threatened to consume him, but Ashoka fought against it. He was the king of the jungle, and he would not give in to fear. He had to escape, had to warn his pride of the danger. With a surge of adrenaline, Ashoka lunged forward, testing the limits of the trap's hold. The metal bit deeper, drawing blood, but Ashoka refused to yield. He would not become a prisoner in his own kingdom. He remembered his training, the lessons taught by his mother, the former queen of this jungle. She had taught him to never give up, to always fight for survival. Ashoka dug deep within himself, summoning every ounce of his strength and cunning. He had to break free.